What's up, everyone? So, Jason Statham's action-packed thriller, The Beekeeper, absolutely crushed it in 2024, and guess what? We're getting a sequel. If you missed this gem when it hit theaters, let me catch you up real quick. The original Beekeeper success. The first movie starred Statham as Adam Clay, a former member of this mysterious group called the Beekeepers. When a powerful scammer starts robbing regular people of their money, Clay comes out of retirement for one brutal mission of revenge to take them down. And let me tell you, it delivered exactly what you'd expect from a Statham flick. Even though the movie was released with little fanfare, this simple but effective action flick pushed all the right buttons and became the first surprise smash of 2024. Critics gave it high marks, praising its simplicity, briskness, and Statham's easy performance, unlike many action movies that lean heavily on schlock. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just a critical success. The Beekeeper crossed major box office milestones in the early weeks of 2024, guaranteeing its spot as a bona fide blockbuster. That kind of success? Yeah, that's a surefire sign a sequel is coming. Sequel confirmation and timeline. Coming more than a year after the first movie debuted, we finally got the news in late February 2025 that The Beekeeper 2 is officially happening. But here's where things get interesting. We're getting some major changes behind the camera. David Ayer, who helmed the first film and gave us movies like Fury and Suicide Squad, won't be returning as director. Word is he might potentially be brought on as a producer instead. But directing duties have gone to Timo Tjahjanto, and if you don't know this guy, he's no stranger to the action genre. He directed The Night Comes For Us, which is absolutely brutal in the best way possible. Production details and release window. So when can we expect to see this sequel? Well, shooting on The Beekeeper 2 starts in fall 2025, which puts us on track for a potential summer 2026 release window. That's still a ways out, but honestly, if it means we get another quality Statham action fest, I'm willing to wait. Also returning is screenwriter Kurt Wimmer, who penned the first film, so we should expect the same tone and style that made the original work so well. Cast updates. So far, Jason Statham is the only name officially attached to The Beekeeper 2, returning to reprise his role as Adam Clay. The retired beekeeper exacted his revenge in the first film, but he'll be back, whether to save the day or maybe save himself from the retribution that's surely coming his way. Now, there are a few of Statham's co-stars who could return since Adam killed many of his foes, and it seems like many storylines were tightly wrapped up. Emmy Raver-Lampman could potentially reprise her role as FBI agent Verona Parker, especially since she aligned herself with Adam by the end of the first movie. But honestly, it's also highly likely that The Beekeeper 2 will introduce a slew of new characters, especially since the concept of the Beekeepers organization lends itself perfectly to standalone action stories. Story possibilities. Despite delivering an action-packed and exciting ending, The Beekeeper left a lot of unanswered questions that a sequel could easily answer. Here's where things get really exciting. Unlike many action films which offer a narrow scope, The Beekeeper 2 could go in a multitude of directions and still be interesting. They could go the prequel route and explore why Adam Clay initially left the Beekeepers behind in the first place. What was his life like with the organization? There's so much mystery around that group that needs exploring. Or the story could follow Clay after the events of the first film and perhaps turn the organization into his newest enemy. Remember, having made an enemy of both the Beekeepers and the President of the United States, Adam is in quite a bit of hot water. And here's another possibility. Having learned of the massive amounts of corruption that put President Danforth in the White House, she could become Adam's next target. Whatever happens in The Beekeeper 2, it has the potential to become another explosive hit. Franchise potential. You know what's really interesting about this? This could be the franchise that finally gives Jason Statham his own major solo series. Sure, he's been great in ensemble pieces like Fast and Furious and The Expendables, and he's had some sequels with Transporter, Crank, Mechanic, and Meg, but none of those really became massive ongoing franchises. The Beekeepers concept has so much potential for a long-running series. Think about it like Denzel Washington's Equalizer movies. Audiences love seeing their favorite action heroes play the good guy, helping people who can't help themselves. That formula works, and The Beekeeper fits perfectly into that mold. Realistic release expectations. Now, let's talk reality for a second. While they're aiming for that summer 2026 release, don't be shocked if it gets pushed to early 2027. Here's why. Statham rarely does more than one lead role per year, and he's got Mutiny scheduled for 2026 as well. Looking at his recent track record, A Working Man hit theaters in March 2025, The Beekeeper came out in January 2024, Meg 2 landed in June 2023, and Wrath of Man arrived in May 2021. The guy's pretty consistent with his release schedule, but he doesn't overload his calendar. So while I'm hoping for that summer 2026 date, I wouldn't be surprised if we're waiting until the first half of 2027 to see Adam Clay back in action. Final thoughts. Bottom line, The Beekeeper 2 has all the ingredients to be another solid hit. With Timo Tjahjanto bringing his action expertise to the director's chair, Statham returning to kick butt, and Kurt Wimmer back on screenplay duties, this sequel has serious potential. The first movie proved that sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just give audiences a well-made action flick with a star who knows how to deliver. If The Beekeeper 2 can capture that same energy while expanding the mythology of this mysterious organization, we could be looking at the start of Statham's next big franchise. What do you think? Are you excited for The Beekeeper 2? Let me know in the comments what you want to see in the sequel. More backstory, bigger action sequences, or maybe some answers about what the Beekeepers organization really is. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more movie updates and breakdowns.